Welcome back. You're watching Signature Television. We're switching gears to the economy, like I mentioned earlier. What is the effect of the economy on families? We're going to be
Exactly.
talking about that because, again, there's nobody that would say they haven't been affected by the increase in pump price of fuel and the changing habits of spending in the family and how it's inherently affecting the family.
Exactly.
Someone once said that the what part of the reasons why we have domestic violence is because of lack of money. That if there is money, there's
People will
largely
not be fighting.
no domestic
But
violence.
when there is no food,
I mean, it's more chaotic, you know. So I just hope we're going to fine tune some of the things that we're going to be discussing today and specifically talk about how to mitigate it and maybe solve some of the problems. Because we have with us a professor. She's Professor Barrister Florence Orabueze. She is a professor of English and Literary Studies at the University of Nigeria. So good to have you. Good morning, madam.
Thank
good
you.
morning and
Thank
welcome,
you. I
Prof.
appreciate that you had me here.
You're
Right,
Thank you.
looking good this morning.
Thank you. And welcome, viewers.
right. From the first point of call, just let us know how it feels like right now as regards the economy and the spending habits for you and some other persons, because I also know that you must have heard and listened to other people's stories as regards this.
The truth is that our economy is battered. There is so much hyperinflation. As a housewife, I will go to the market. The prices of goods are increasing every day in an astronomical order. And for the traders, they will complain. For those of us civil servants, particularly the lecturers, our lecturers are the lowest paid throughout throughout the world. For instance, our last increment was in 2009. So for a period of 15 years, we are earning the same salaries.
Lecturers haven't,
Yeah,
salaries have
yeah,
not
we're
been
earning
increased since
almost, yeah,
2009.
yes. So nothing much.
Wow.
So you can see that even professors at the highest peak, like myself in universities, we are now living below the poverty line. So how much more common people, drivers, petty traders, night watchmen, and what have you? The point is that the country is in a very bad shape. And the people are groaning. And they are in agony. There is so much pain. But I don't think that our leaders realize that they're handling a time bomb. Many people can no longer feed. And it was Kofi Annan who said that when the poor cannot sleep, when the poor are hungry, the wealthy cannot sleep. It is a question of time.
When the poor are hungry, the wealthy cannot sleep.
Of course.
Meaning that,
Well, you can see end bad governance, NSAS, protests, insecurity in the country, banditry, terrorism, militancy, and the agitations. They all coalesce into one thing: poverty. Poverty. And I repeat again, poverty. When the people are happy, when the people are well fed, even if they don't have cars, they cannot do some of the things we are seeing in this country. Some people are super rich and they have reduced the entire nation, more than 180 to 200 million Nigerians, to poverty. And they don't bother. They don't bother. They and their children are comfortable. Their children are overseas with the money their parents frittered away, and they are living in surplus. Many of our children have fled the country, going to wash corpses abroad, going to do one type of dirty jobs or the other, being humiliated and dehumanized, their organs being harvested, because we have leaders who don't bother about the people. It is a question of time. Like I said, let me repeat Kofi Annan again. His presentations to the United Nations. When the poor are hungry, the rich cannot sleep.
Okay, let's come back to Nigeria, to the families, Nigerian families. In what way do you think the economic challenges or economic inflation that is happening in the country is affecting, relationships and cohesion within Nigerian families now?
My dear daughter, in our own African setting, the fathers are the heads of families. Even in the Bible, when the fathers can no longer provide when they are living, a lot of things can happen. But I will advise the women, even if you are the breadwinner of the family, don't take it that your husband is a fool because he cannot provide school fees, because the condition of the economy has made it impossible for him to feed the family. Remember that he is still the head of the family. Remember that he is also in control of the family. If you tell your children and the world that your husband is a fool, because you are now the one providing for the family, you are setting in, the person is setting in emotion, the crisis that will consume our family in future. I'm telling you out of experience.
But
Right.
these particular things you think affect cohesion amongst families, because again, you look at the most vulnerable in society as part of those who are the most affected, the women and then the children. How do you mitigate it? Because again, you are in this economy. Sometimes when we provide some of the solutions, you find it very difficult to even find out some of the solutions. Solution will probably be make more monies now, and in making more monies, you don't even have that business, or even the environment is not conducive enough for you to even draw some inspiration to open a business, because while we open the business, it's been shut down because of the economic situation. But just asking really, as somebody who is navigating that system, that process, how do you think families should navigate these times that we are in?
I'm telling you that it's not easy. Successive governments have collapsed the middle class. But for the families, if you can still eat 3 square meals a day,
Do they still eat 3 square
I'm
meals?
telling you, there are people who can still eat 3 square meals. We're talking about there is a kind of connection, interconnectivity between the poverty in the land and the insecurity. If you can still eat 3 meals, because we know that there are people who have that money, a few of them, a few percentage, like I said about Kofi Annan, you can still pick up 1 or 2 people, neighbors, friends, relations, who cannot afford to eat, who cannot afford to send their children to school. Forget about the frivolous donations we see are rich people giving 100 million here, giving 200 billion here. We forget that we have people that are so poor that they can no longer eat. You can empower them, empower even one of them. Send the person to school, send the person to the university, open a business for the people. We have all these things in our villages, all these people in our villages. If you are super rich, don't show you're super rich by buying a yacht and an aeroplane. At times, you don't even use them. Donate to some of these people. Empower them. Give them 1 million. Give them 500,000. If you give 100, 200 of them, I can assure you that the seed you have planted a mustard seed. And give them 10 years. Some of them will also be millionaires. And you can see that you can sleep well. And you'll be happy.
You are a professor of English and literary studies in UNN, and I wanted to ask, in terms of education, how do you think the cost of education right now and the cost of economic reforms, in Nigeria right now is affecting children going to school, both students in higher institutions and then the pupils in primary and nursery schools? Is the outcome, is the turnout really that much the way it used to be before?
Well, you know that with fuel increments, for increment in prices of fuel, some parents can no longer afford to send their young children in schools where they used to go. Every day you may buy fuel of 10,000 just to drive them to school and come back. It's almost an impossibility. So we know that some of them had already shifted their children to schools that are nearer. And some parents can no longer afford the astronomical school fees that government and private schools are charging. So definitely there must be a drop. Then you come to the university. What the government is trying to help.
Okay. In what ways?
By NEL fund. But how many people have gotten the NEL fund money? How many institutions have realized that? So most of our children in higher institutions, they will be forced to do all sorts of things, including prostitution and cyber crimes and other illegal, illegitimate, and criminal acts to get money to buy food, to get money to pay their school fees if their parents cannot afford that. So Nigerian leaders should know that they are opening the doors for criminal activities. If they cannot eat, if the children cannot eat, there is no way they can stay without food. For months, for weeks, for days. It's not possible.
All right, so the government has responded to some of this hardship that Nigerians have complained about. What they say is, look, we just have to go through these hard times in order for good times to come. That we're leaving a country for better tomorrow. If we do not take these decisions, we may find ourselves in a place that is even worse than where we are right now. In the last election, the three presidential candidates said, look, they're going to remove the subsidy, and subsidy has been a problem. And part of the reasons why we're facing this problem right now is because of the removal of fuel subsidy that has jacked up the prices of transportation, the prices of fuel. And so movement becomes expensive. Someone who is selling a tuber of yam from his farm to the city to sell yams used to be 100 naira transportation. But a situation where the person now starts paying 600 naira for that particular tuber of yam, you don't expect them to sell the yam at the same price that they were selling it. So do you think that we're on a right path to growth, to development, given this background the government has given?
Honestly, to tell you the truth, I don't understand this country again. I don't also understand our leaders. They will say one thing today. Some people will tell you that they have removed subsidy. Others will tell you that they are also at the backyard. They are still paying subsidy. They will tell you that Dangote refinery has come and there will be relief. And they will tell you again. In fact, all sorts of things are being said. The point is that Nigerians are unhappy. The point is that if you're talking about subsidy, go to developed countries where they keep their children, where they go every day. If you don't have jobs, you have money to collect to keep you going. They do all this. Even transportation at a certain age. Even your health. You go there, you will take drugs, the doctors will check you. You go. If you are removing subsidy as a government, what are the benefits of the citizens? What benefits are we deriving?
Last
Is it
week,
the level of the health?
last week, the government announced, specifically the CBN, announced that they have paid a conditional cash transfer of 25,000 naira to 25 million Nigerians. You are asking for the gains for the removal of first subsidy, the alternative. Do you think that that amount is good enough, at least for a start?
Well, the point is that, like I said, I don't believe I have to play a game under the government.
You don't believe 25,000 naira
How
was
many
paid?
how many people did you hear that received it? That is the issue. Is it like that of Humanitarian Affairs Ministry under President Buhari? When even during COVID, schools were closed. And we were being told that billions of naira were used to feed school children. I've been asking around, who received the money being paid?
25,000 naira.
Yes, who received it?
It's for poor Nigerians. You
Poor
are not.
Nigerians.
You're not rated amongst the poor. So
No, I'm not rated among the poor, but even those people who are poor, one who has received it, some of them don't even have bank accounts. The poor Nigerians that should receive the money, they don't have bank accounts. So how did they receive how and where? Were they giving them the money at the marketplaces? That is the issue. If they're giving them 25,000, well, it's better than nothing. But the truth is that unless this country believes in the bedrock of every civilized society, justice and truth, we are wasting our time. We are wasting our time. People are suffering. People are dying. People are unhappy. And it looks like nobody cares.
So as it stands now, what three things would you be telling the government if you were to meet the president right now and say, do these three things to alleviate some of the sufferings of Nigerians? What would you be telling the president?
Well, first of all, I'll tell the president that some of the people that are around you, they are not helping you. They are telling you what you want to hear. But you have to hear from common Nigerians. Let them not be doing the job for you. Because if you get the information firsthand, you will know how to solve the problems. Then the subsidy he has removed, how far has it helped Nigerians? It's like getting up from frying pan into fire. And that is what it is. Let him help Nigerians. Then the educational system, which is the bedrock of every civilized society, and health. Where are we with it? Our leaders will send their children abroad to study there. Then here, we are now having playgrounds as educational system. Then many of our medical doctors and other health workers have left and are still leaving the country in droves. And very soon we'll be left with mortuaries. What is he and the others presiding over? Let him stop listening to people who think that they get whatever the country can offer them. Nigeria is sitting on a time bomb. Nigeria is sitting on the premise, on the precipice of Bermuda Triangle. It is a question of time before it blows. If he's here to help the country, let him work to help the country. And let him stop having sycophants and praise singers who are around him, deceiving him. He finishes, they will go and sing praises for another person. And this is the trajectory we have seen in the country for decades.
Christmas is approaching. Is on the way. I don't know how many Nigerians you think are excited about Christmas with what is happening, with what the high economic situation of the country right now. How do you think Nigerians are super excited to celebrate the Christmas in a very beautiful way this time around?
Well, it's not easy. A bag of rice, when I inquired, local rice that President Buhari told us to start using. Since he made that policy, I used to eat foreign rice myself. But since he said that, I saw some sense in what he said. I don't eat foreign rice again. I don't even have it in my house. But is that foreign rice? Is it cheap? I asked for a bag of Boo rice. Boo brand of Boo. It's local. They told me it's 105,000 naira.
105,000.
105,000 naira at Kenyatta Market.
Wow.
50 kg bag. So how many people can afford 150,000 naira to buy 50 kg bag of Boo rice, which is local? And those people who are receiving 25,000 naira, which is more than one quarter of what they need to buy a bag. Do you think that they can afford that? Then you talk about tomatoes, you talk about chicken. Everything has gone up astronomically because of fuel subsidy removal.
All right. Madam, we can go on about some of the issues that we're facing in this country, and we will not get tired of it. I mean, it's one problem that is here, and we just have to face it and face it squarely with a view to overcome it. I hope that you know that Nigerians are resilient people. I mean, if we're not, I'm sure that we would have actually, gone on the street and stay on the street just like we did Occupy Nigeria in 2012. But it does look like Nigerians are getting used to it, and hopefully in due time, they would overcome it. And so the promises made by saving of resources from the removal of fuel subsidy can be used for infrastructural development, for education, just like you highlighted, and for other things. I want to say a very big thank you, Professor, for your time on today's show. We truly, really appreciate your insights.
Coming.
Thank you. I appreciate too.
All right. I want to say a very big congratulations to our colleague. Her name is Precious Jagor. It's her birthday today. She's of the news department of Signature Television. Happy birthday to you, and may God bless you and grant all your heart desires.
Exactly.